This is called How to Rebuild a Mopar Vacuum Advanced Distributor on the Trunk of Your Car. As you can see, our distributor is in pieces. We have about 60 pieces here, and today we're going to put them together into what is known as a Mopar Vacuum Advanced Distributor. This is actually an incredible feat of engineering. This is before they realized how computers work, and so everything was done with mechanical advances and mechanical computations. So this massive piece in a modern car, in your Honda Civic that you got out back, this piece is probably about 20 times smaller, and it consists of a cam position sensor and a computer, which essentially is what does your advancing instead of these weights and slide plates and advanced slot ranges. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of interesting to see technology go from mechanical to electrical. Seems like everything's headed that way. Make it smaller, make it better, make it cheaper, make it faster. Something about the aluminum housing on a pin that goes directly to your camshaft with a distributor plate that consists of a rotating chunk of copper striking 8 different ports across your distributor cap. There's something fascinating about that. Just to see how simple this once was, and now it's equally simple, just at a microscopic scale, so you'd never know it. Some might even argue that's the direction all technology is headed. Is on a long enough time scale, everything eventually just becomes smaller because it's cheaper and it's less resource intensive. Yeah, I think that would actually be a pretty fair argument. Anyways, as I was saying, here we got a Mopar Vacuum Advanced Distributor in pieces. We got about 20 different pieces here. You might be saying, oh, why is it pulled apart? Well, it's actually because it tried blowing our engine up. It successfully did about twice. Blew 2 head gaskets. Now we got a multi-layer steel head gasket in there. And instead of blowing the head gasket, it just blows the spark plugs out. And so after blowing 2 spark plugs here and getting stranded on the side of the road, we decided, hey, and by we, I mean me, said, hey, maybe we just have a detonation problem. You know what? We did a timing check, this old distributor here, and did the usual procedure. Idle it, check it. Oh, it's at 12 degrees. Okay, beautiful. Rev it up to 3 grand. Revs it up to 3 grand. We're at 34 degrees advanced time, right on the money. A little bit on the safe side, which is good. What could the problem possibly be? Think about it for a little bit, come back. All right, let her eat to 4 grand. Between 3 grand and 4 grand, we gained an additional 6 degrees of timing. And it didn't even stop at 4 grand. It kept going. I said, yeah, that's definitely the problem. So we were probably around 40, 42 degrees of timing advanced on this engine, and that's why it was consistently nuking itself every time it got over 3 grand. And it definitely got over 3 grand. So yeah, anyways, we got this plate here. It's going to fix all our problems, and thanks to FBO Ignition, they sold this to me for only $48 for a piece of stainless steel metal. Kind of talk about inflation, but if it fixes it, it fixes it. So hopefully they do. If not, I'm going to make a video and I'll be flaming this guy, Dana Briggs. Shout out Dana Briggs. FBO Ignition. Anyways, yeah, we're going to put this thing back together. Let me get the grease. Alright folks, here we got the Mobil 1 high temp, not ceramic, synthetic grease. it's red, that's how you know it's good. So then we're going to grab a Q-tip here out of my mother's pantry and stick it in the grease, get it nice and red, all gooped up, shroopty goopy. Now we're gonna, this is one of our weights. So as you'll see, these are gonna go inside the housing onto these little rods, and that'll be our mechanical advance. Hopefully this thing is symmetrical because I have no idea which side which came off of. And we're gonna put a little bit of grease on here. By the way, when I took this thing apart, the old grease had essentially petrified into something similar to pine sap, but it did not smell like pine sap. I will say that. It did not smell like pine sap. Anyways, you take a look at these numbers for me. I should make note of that. It'd be nice if my camera would focus, but this is what. Alright, that's one of the weights I'm running. Someone write that down so I remember. Okay, bueno. As they say. Just a light coat of grease here. I'm actually going to pull this one out because I totally forgot to put grease on the brass bushing. Not ideal. So now we got that greased. High quality, honestly. They pressed in brass bushings to a metal casing that was cast and then slammed a pin into it. Like, look at the manufacturing on that. Mass produced for this car. Wow, my camera's really cooperating today. Check it out. It's like yin and yang. So anyways, this is going to spin, and as it spins, the weights will centrifugally be propelled outwards. Sorry, it spins this way. Hopefully it spins that way. And then it'll move the slots and give me some mechanical advance. So we're going to put these springs on now, which is always a fun little project. I say that like I've done this before. I've never done this before. This whole video, the script is coming straight out of my rear end. So if there's some boomer out there listening to this, and best not be in the comments telling me I mispronounced something or did something incorrect. Holy moly. Oh yeah. Honestly, if there's some boomer out there and they see me do something incorrectly here, leave a comment, because I would never know if I did. We got the green spring on, then we got like a purple blue spring here. That means something. Somewhere out there's a chart and you can figure out what your springs are. And swap them around and adjust your curve. But honestly, I think my curve's good. I was just overcompensating. I think if I could get 34, 36 degrees of advance, around $3 grand, and kind of just peak around there, I think life would be fine and dandy. I have a dream, you know. So anyways, here's our FBO ignition from Dana Briggs. Again, this could be yours for only $45 off eBay. Honestly, this is a cool tool. We can select how many degrees of mechanical advance on our timing we want. So I think we're going to go with, let's see, we're going from, we got a 13 Allen here, so we were getting 26 degrees of advance previously. So that would be what brought us from 12 to 38. Yeah, a little bit too much. And no, it's a 13.0 or it's a 13R. I don't know. It says on the bottom of this plate, which goes above the slots. I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, anyways, we got the FBO ignition plate. We're gonna go for, so 16 to 22 degrees is what they say we want on this. So 16 to 22. Let's target 16. 16 to 36 would be 20, which is 10. So there's our slot of 18, or our 13, alleged 13 slot. Something's not adding up because the 18 is bigger than the actual slot on our 13R. So that's interesting. Would be nice if they had some instructions, maybe. Grease it up. Again, I'm totally guessing. Dana Briggs didn't supply me with any instructions on how to install this plate, so I'm kind of just using some esoteric wisdom, essentially, to put this together. And I'm putting grease on it because it seems like it would be better with grease. Nice. We'll do the other side too. Might as well just put grease everywhere. Nice. It's lubed up. Now we're going to put grease all over this thing too. Why? I don't know. Probably so it doesn't rust, and so that we just have grease. I do know these slots are a specific area of my grease, so we're going to grab the Q-tip, and we're going to grease up the slots. And that's where our pin will ride. Again, not too much grease on there because this is going to be spinning really fast, and so if you got too much grease, it's just going to get ejected, go flying straight to the side of the distributor, which we don't want. So we got a nice, beautiful thingamajig, center column for the distributor. We're going to put it so that the slot 16 is in there, just like so. And since we put so much grease on there, it sticks, which is actually mint. Clean off this fuzzy. Put it on our shaft. Just like that. But of course, the weights are now running into the slots, so we're going to have to move the weights up by hand. So now you're going to need all 10 fingers for this one. You're going to grab your, by you I mean me, I'm going to grab this pick here, and we're going to go pick this thing out with our pick. Yeah. Huh. Just like that. It was too easy. Bam. Yeah. So yeah, we got the bottom of the distributor in. That is huge. And now we're going to have to pull it apart because I totally forgot. Long story short, when I was taking this thing apart, this is actually just going to be a long story. There's a clip. Oh, shoot. I'll take it apart. Yeah. Nice. When you take it apart, there's a clip here that is kind of stubborn. And it's basically like a ring clip. I'd love to show you, but when I was taking this thing apart, mine hit the eject and it went flying. I have no idea where it went. So, we're going to use an E-clip instead. E-clip instead of the C-clip. So we got our E-clip here, which is actually surprisingly thick. And it's going to go inside of here, which is great because it totally does not fit inside of our shaft. That's just excellent. Alright, this is definitely not recommended by the experts, but I think it's going to work. This is a tiny little clip, like a bobby pin, for all the females watching this. Speaking of clips, you want to see the goofiest clip I've ever seen? Well, look at this thing. What is that? Imagine trying to replace that. It's on the bottom of the distributor vacuum advanced sheet metal. It's like a spider looking thing. Never seen one of those before. Anyways, now we're going to put it together for real this time. Well, my clip failed. I think we might have to figure something else out here. Back to the drawing board. Put the cap on this for tonight. And that's how you rebuild a Mopar vacuum advanced distributor. Welcome back to today's episode of How to Rebuild a Distributor. This is a Mopar vacuum advanced distributor, and we are going to put it together for real today. Yesterday was kind of a test run, kind of fiddled around for about 3 hours. And today we got some clips, so it's actually going to happen. We got C clips. It looks like it's going to be a 1/2 inch internal C clip is what you want to put on this bad boy. But of course, it's going to take some custom modifications here. And the C clip that we originally grabbed out of the container fell into the distributor. So we're going to take it all apart. We're going to put this thing down in the bottom so that it's actually properly assembled. It's going to be a great time. So anyways, we got the weights in here. We're going to pull them out. Alright, so today we're going to do it for real. As you can see, we got our shell of a 1970s Mopar vacuum advanced distributor here. Alright, so as I said earlier, our retaining clip that originally went on the top of this got launched into outer space. So we're putting a modified C clip on here. Get a little peek at that. We're actually going to have to grind down the front of this thing because it's too wide to fit in our shaft. So we're going to do a little bit of modification here. That is definitely not what the professional way of doing this would be. But I think... Oh yeah. It fits. Alright, so now to start assembly for real here, we got the rotating shaft here. I'm guessing it's symmetrical. If it's not, we're going to have some problems because I have no idea which way it came off of which side. I think we'll be fine. This side has a beveled edge on it. This is going to go down on the distributor. The other side's flat, so we'll stick this plastic cap on here. Make sure we don't have any gunk built up in here. It looks pretty clean. We're just gonna slide this thing on down in there, just like that. And then we're gonna put our weights on, which are already greased up. If you haven't greased them, put some grease on the inside of these cavities. We're gonna do it again just because. So we're gonna guess and assume it goes on this side because it just looks like it would go on that side. Frankly, I had no idea. And we'll stick the other one on the other side. Move these springs around. Boom. Boom. Just like that. Back in the holster. Put the springs around. Perfectly advanced. Advanced beyond your wildest comprehension. It is locked and loaded there. We got our springs in place. And everything's greased up. We got some grease on the pins. We'll go over them one more time, but don't want to put too much grease on here because then it starts flying everywhere, and then next thing you know, you don't have spark because you got grease on the inside of your distributor cap. Not ideal. And so we got this thing greased up as well, just for the heck of it. We got it on 16 degrees mechanical advance slot. So that should give us our beautiful 20 to 36 degrees, which I think will make this engine very happy. I think it'll be smiling ear to ear once it gets this thing going. Just like that. So now we got our slot on. Spinning nice and smooth, no binding. Everything's greased. What more could you ask for? Now comes the fun part of putting our mini clip onto the rotating shaft. And as I was saying earlier, we kind of chewed the side of it off. So it's going to be a little bit extra fun getting around there, and I also never test fitted. So we're kind of just going to cross our fingers, say a prayer, and hope that this works. I'm probably going to regret putting this in here. But we have a C-clip with no tentacles on it shoved in there now, so that ain't never coming out. That thing is torqued, and even if you wanted to get on that C-clip, there's nothing to grab onto, so good luck. But I have great confidence this is going to work, so we have nothing to worry about. We got our weights in here and our shaft. It's got the clip on it, all tied down. We didn't put the felt on yet, that'll come later. But we got this plate here. This is going to be our base plate that everything screws onto. So you got the slot here on the side. You're going to line that up with this side. Again, there's only one way to put it in here. So if you have it 180 degrees, you're going to know it because it's not going to work. So flip it 180 if you got it backwards. And it should line up. So then you got the slot, you got the screw going right through that hole, and then you got this pin that also. There we go. Slot, and there's threads behind that now. Just like that. So then we're going to take our vacuum advance and we're going to stick it so the tab pin is facing up. Take our slot, stick it through the slot, up, through, around, put the pin on there, just like that. You'll probably have a wear mark from where it used to be. That's where it's going to line up. So then we got our vacuum advance in there. This is all going to have to move around because we got a clip we got to stick on the bottom here yet. But we're kind of just mocking it up here. So this piece now, so this is our sensor for when we're, for how much advance we got, so it'll give us a readout and RPM and all that. Again, ancient technology here. This is probably about 1/100th of the size on a modern car, but nice and simple, so I mean it works. Just a magnet and a pickup. But anyways, there's this grooved tab here on the bottom. Our C-clip is going to go on this thing. When I say C-clip, I guess it's really a Y-clip. An octopus clip. I don't know. It's a weird looking thing. Guys, we're gonna take this goofy looking peg here and it's gonna go through the one hole on our distributor. So we'll go like that. And just like that, it'll look like a distributor, but obviously we gotta put this clip on, so that's the fun part. We're gonna have to essentially slide this whole assembly up so you can see underneath it. Again, there might be a better way to do this, but this is just the best way I've found. Honestly, I hope there's a better way to do this because this is chaos. So I don't know if I said earlier that this was nice and simple, but I take back every single word I said because this is the most complicated mechanical device on this car, I think. This is insane. This snap ring is running into the shaft because of the angle of rotation it's at. Now how am I supposed to rotate a Y snap ring so that it will fit on the shaft? That's insane. Oh my gosh. It just clicked. Oh, nice. Nice. That's actually nice. Wow. Wow. Excellent. So, we gotta screw everything down, but we got the world's most advanced mechanical vacuum advanced distributor back in place. With the FBO ignition plate in there, the $45 piece of steel. And I think this might just solve all our problems. Alright, so now we got our distributor back together here. Looking absolutely beautiful. Just like the day it rolled off the factory line. Spins smooth, no binding. You can hear our weights moving around in there. That's good. So now we're gonna move this sensor all the way out so we got some space here, and we're gonna put our pickup on. And this thing is directional. So you can see there's a little indent there. And that indent is going to go up. If you try to stick it the other way, it would not work. So honestly, you don't have anything to worry about. Cash money. Alright, so now I'm just gonna, just like that. Looking good. Now we're gonna finger tight all these screws into here. Alright, so now we got this one little flathead screw, and that's gonna go right here for our adjustable pickup. You want it close, but not too close. Alright, mint. So, now we got this felt cap we're gonna put 1030 oil onto, and then that's gonna go in the center shaft of this and slowly distribute oil throughout our distributor, keep it all lubed up and running nice. Full synthetic oil actually, so this thing is gonna be top tier performance. This thing is gonna be so lubricated. Oh. Bam. Put the felt in, the cap on. Just like that, we have a distributor. So yeah, just like that. That is how you build or rebuild a Mopar Vacuum Advanced Distributor. We're gonna put a little bit of dielectric grease on this thing, on the tip of this, and then Should be good. Obviously, do not drop it. Here's our cap, though. Still in one piece. We'll stick it on here. And it appears to be omnidirectional, which is great because I did not pay attention to which way it came off. Flip our thingamajigs. Boom. Mopar Vacuum Advanced Mechanical Advanced FPO Ignition Distributor. Complete. And I'm going to leave it at an angle so the oil will drain down.